Hello students, you are welcome to this class on Introduction to Tuples. This is a Python class, and here we are going to be looking at the basic codes for Introduction to Tuples. So grab your pens, your editors, wherever you do your Python, and prepare to have this class, Introduction to Tuples. In previous classes, we have explained what tuples are. We know tuples are of different designs or structures, but basically a tuple is a smooth bracket with a comma inside it. I believe I have said this in previous classes. I've defined a tuple as this, that a tuple, say, tuple tup1, let's call that the variable name for the tuple, is simply a bracket, a smooth bracket with a comma inside it. If this exists, then we know this is a tuple. Is that clear? This is the definition of a tuple. If you were to take the type of this object and put it in your code, it will definitely give you a tuple. For example, if you print type tup1, definitely that will result in class tuple. Is that clear? I believe we are all very familiar with that. Let's see if we can copy that and paste it in our editor for reference purposes. Okay? Okay, let's go to our editor for reference purposes. Okay, this is our editor. All right, and we go. So if we run this code, let's see what we have. We have an error here. Let's see. This is the definition of our tuple. We have our brackets. Let's put an object there like 3, comma, yes. So that corrects everything. So yes, you can see what we have. We have class tuple. So let me rearrange that definition. It will then mean that a tuple is a smooth bracket with comma with just one item inside it. Is that clear? With just one item inside it, that is a tuple. So if you have that, you have a tuple. Is that clear? Now, we are going to be looking at the expansion of tuples and how we begin to look at the structuring of tuples. Is that clear? Now, tuples could be formed in different ways, but there are some things that are true about a tuple. For example, a tuple is immutable. For example, one of the ways I can create a tuple, in fact, one of the only ways to create a tuple, which is the reason for the immutability of tuple, is something like this. This is a tuple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 56. That is a tuple. Now, once a tuple is created, there is no code to add information or remove information from a tuple. So what can be done with a tuple? Tuples can be combined. For example, if I call this tuple 1 and I call the other one tuple 2, I can combine the both of them together and I would have tuple 1, 2. Okay? So therefore, I would have something like 7, 8, 9, maybe 100. And that's tuple 2. So I could generate tuple 3 as the addition of tuple 1 and tuple 2. And then we'll see the result as the addition of tuple 1 and tuple 2. So the next thing we do is print tuple 3. All right. So we're going to take this code again, and then we'll go, I'm sorry about that, to our code editor and paste that. Okay, so let's run that code now. Okay, as you can see, the first one still runs normally tuple. The second one, can you see our tuple now, tuple 3, is the combination of tuple 1 and tuple 2. These are some of the few things we can do with a tuple. Now, a tuple is an array. It is the most basic Python form of array. One of the other things we can run around with a tuple is when we come to the expansion of tuples. Now, this expansion I'm about to apply to tuples, you are familiar with them from our string operations. For example, if I have a string which is equal to a variable str, or let me say str1, string 1, which is hello world. Let's say that's my string. And I want to create a second string by multiplying 2 with the first string. We'll see the results in a minute. To see the effect of star multiplication on tuples. Alright? Okay. So we'll look at this. Let's paste this there. And then in our code editor, let's have this and run it. Okay, can we see what has happened? Can we see what has happened? Hello world now comes twice. Can you see it? Hello world, because of this star 2. Meaning you can multiply strings using the star multiplication. You can see that the basic Python star multiplication is an intelligent multiplication, because it doesn't just apply to numbers, it applies to strings as it applies to tuples. So it means that the star recognizes what you are operating it on. So whatever things you give it to operate on, it recognizes what it should do. Alright, let's go back to our code. So what we have now is we are going to be looking at something quite interesting. Just this now, but instead of two strings, instead of our normal tuple, we're going to be applying, instead of strings, we're applying tuple. So let's look at it. I'm going to create tuple 4 right now, and tuple 4 will be 4 star tuple 3. And we are going to print tuple 4 now. Okay. Alright. Let's go to our editor. Paste that code and then run it. Okay, can you see what that's done? It has taken our tuple 3 and it has multiplied it 4 times, up to 100, 100, 100, and 100. Can you see that? 5 times plus the first one. Is that clear? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times, let's say. So you see now, our tuple 4 is 4 times our tuple 3. So you can use this to suddenly increase the contents of data. Is that clear? Within a tuple. But basically, this is what a Python tuple is. And these are one of those few operations you can do with a tuple. Now, tuples don't only have to contain numbers. They can contain anything. They can contain strings and numbers at the same time. They can contain objects of separate orientation. And then from there, we'll begin to see how we are going to work with that. One more thing we are going to be looking at before we close this class today is the extraction of data from tuples. But that will be our main topic in the next class. So let me just keep that. I'll give you an assignment now in this class. And in this assignment, you are going to be doing something quite interesting for me. As the assignment, you are going to create 5 tuples, and then you would add the first 2 to create the 6th, the first 3, you add the first 2 to create the 6th, the first 3 to create the 7th, and so on. And so on means that the first 4 to create the 8th, and then the 5 to create the 9th. So it will end on 9 tuples. Is that clear? Alright. Alright, so have a lovely time. Do the assignments, and we will see in the next class. Thank you. If you want to reach us physically, you can call us on our number 081 3662 I'll add that number to this in case you just seen us on YouTube and you want to get better classes. You can always reach us on 081 3662 for call and WhatsApp. My name remains Ayo Badebo, and have a nice time. Until our next class.